I would like to call this Shelton Metropolitan's Park District meeting to order. It was on our agenda to start this at 7:45, and we will have our other commissioner, I'm sure, joining us shortly. But at this time, because it is a new year, what we need to do is we need to pick a new chair for the Metropolitan's Park District. And so we need a chair, and then we also need to reaffirm a clerk's position for that. So at this time, I would accept any nomination for someone that would like to chair that committee this year. And I would make that nomination to be Commissioner Kevin Dorsey. And I would need a second on that.
I'll second that.
That would be nice. And so it appears we have a motion and a second for Mr. Dorsey to be the chair of the Shelton Metropolitan's Park District agenda for the year 2018, or until someone else might take his place. So all those in favor with that signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. We also need to make sure that we have a clerk's position there, and so I would accept a nomination for the position of clerk for this Metropolitan Park District.
I'd like to nominate Kathy McDowell.
Right there. Okay, and I would second that nomination. Okay, we have a motion and a second for Kathy McDowell to be the clerk for that Parks District, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Kathy McDowell is now our clerk for that 2018, or until she is replaced. At this time, I'm turning the gavel over to Mr. Dorsey, who is now going to chair the Metropolitan's Park District meeting for us tonight.
All right, I'd like to call to order the special Shelton Metropolitan Parks District meeting to order. We've done the appointment of the president and the clerk. Is there any general public comment?
Not at this time.
Okay. So no one is signed up. Please state your, no, that's done. So we'll move into the consent agenda.
Yeah, and I've had an opportunity to look at the consent agenda, and I feel comfortable with it at this time.
Okay, vouchers numbered 21 through 22 in the amount of $5,135. And we have minutes from special meeting of November 20th, 2017, and special meeting minutes from December 26th, 2017.
So we need a motion.
No questions?
No questions on that.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as read.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed? Passed.
All right. Great.
All right, now. There are no items for business agenda? No? So we move into, see now. Action agenda? All right, we'll move into action agenda.
Thank you, President. Today I'm bringing to you resolution number SMPD 24-0118. This is a resolution of the Metropolitan Park District Board that provides for organization of the district and other matters. This is an updated resolution from 2010 when the Shelton Metropolitan Park District was originally formed. So this is essentially the organizing document that talks about officers elections, the terms of the officers, treasurer, fund, meeting dates, powers, purpose, and so on. Today, the changes that we're bringing to you in this resolution is the meeting dates. In 2010, we had meetings every other month, and today we are proposing to have meetings on the third Tuesday in the months of March, June, September, and December at 6:50 p.m. Preceding the regularly scheduled city commission/council meetings to conduct the business of the Metropolitan Park District. So with your approval of this resolution, I'd ask that we have a motion and approval and adopt resolution number SMPD 24-0118.
All right. Has anybody signed up for public comment on this?
No.
No?
No.
All right, I'll accept a motion.
All right, I would take and make a motion that we approve resolution number SMPD 24-0118, establishing meeting dates and times of the Parks Board. And we will concur with our Community Development Director, Mark Ziegler's suggestion that it's on the, I believe, the third Tuesday of each month for February, March, and April.
March,
February, March?
nope, excuse me, let me get it right here. March, June, September, and December. So we'll meet quarterly, 6:50 PM, immediately preceding the city commission/council meeting.
All right, so I make that motion.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So, do we have an administration report?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. The announcement of the next meeting is going to be, what was that again? That was the
March 20th.
third Tuesday
March 20th.
of
March
March.
20th.
March 20th, thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Pass this back over to Gary.
There you go. Thank you very much. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Thank you all for coming out tonight. First item on our agenda is to add an agenda item under our action agenda, and it's called item number 3. So at this time, will you please stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a couple of commission reports tonight from the community, and the first one is our local Chamber of Commerce's fourth quarter, and that will be presented to us by Heidi McCutcheon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. On behalf of the Shelton Mason County Chamber Board of Trustees and the almost 400 businesses we represent across Mason County, I'm pleased to read you this fourth quarter tourism report for 2017. The tourism services that we provided to you, it's been a banner year. This year we served almost 20,000 people from the 3 different visitor centers that we run. Of course, Hoodsport is the very most busy at the foothills of the Olympic National Park and the Olympic Forest Service. Our Facebook page now has over 2,000 fans. It's one of the ways in which we share news, what's happening, and information on hot topics and events in Mason County. As you can see there, our top 3 posts for fourth quarter, the first most popular was the announcement of the 2017 award nominees. The second post was a job fair that we did, a Mason County career fair. And then the third most popular post was actually a post that we had shared of the cities that was about the drain basins during the fall. As you can see below that, our unique users that are following our Facebook page in fourth quarter, we had about 99,000 from Facebook, or from Shelton, 14,000 from Olympia, 6,000 from Olympia, followed by Union, Belfair, Lacey, Hoodsport, and Tacoma. So it's nice to see that the number 2 and 3 spots that people are actually looking at our Facebook posts are from outerlying areas that are interested in what's happening in Mason County. Below that, you can see our visitor counts. Currently, we have about 20 volunteers who donate their time, answering visitors' questions, providing maps and passes to them. Phone calls, again, we're seeing a decline in phone calls. We are seeing an uptick in email requests, though. Lastly, the website and the calendar. Our website, the most popular page outside of the home page was the events calendar. Two of the largest events that we saw in Shelton was the Chamber co-hosted the Shelton Downtown Merchants Halloween Spooktacular, which was on October 31st. And then, of course, we participated in First Friday in the Christmas parade, which was held the first weekend in December. So that concludes my visitors report. Do you have any questions?
Questions?
Nice presentation again, thank you.
My pleasure.
And again, how many people was at that their gala event you had out there this time?
Yeah, Friday was our 94th annual awards banquet, and we had just under 350 people that attended. So
It's a lot of people.
I
It
thought it was
was
a nice
wonderful
event.
event. Any questions for Heidi?
No.
We thank you very much for that report,
Thank you.
Heidi. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Heidi.
All right, next we have the Historical Society Museum quarterly report, and this is Kristen.
Hi, good evening. As always, we want to thank the city commissioners for their support of Mason County Historical Society. Our fourth quarter at the museum brought a lot of updates and improvements to our overall processes, new exhibits, and programs. In October, we had Speaker Stan Graham give a presentation on the historical impact of the Spanish influenza in the Mason County area. Stan worked for the Forest Service for many years, was a staff member at MCHS, and most recently is the editor of the Mason County Genealogical Society newsletter. Stan had done extensive research on this topic at the museum, and his program was very interesting. We had about 40 in attendance at that program. Mason County Historical Society also participated in Shelton Downtown Merchants Halloween Spooktacular. The annual meeting also took place on Halloween Day. The annual meeting was an opportunity for members of the community to come and offer suggestions on what they would like to see at the museum, and it's a review of our year as well. Officer elections are held every 3 years, and the next officer elections will take place this year at our annual meeting. In November, we had our annual Veterans Day program with Speaker Jack Krause. Krause retired from aviation after a half a century of flying, including 157 combat missions in Southeast Asia. The program was standing room only with about 50 in attendance. We also look forward to passing on the history of our Mason County veterans, and there were several veterans in attendance as well. Also in November, we had volunteer Anita Malone give classes at the museum in porcupine quill art. Anita Malone is a cultural anthropologist and longtime seamstress, and will be offering future classes at Mason County Historical Society in a range of different lost arts. We're looking for other volunteers from the community that would be interested in teaching an art or trade as part of a History in the Arts series as well. November was also the kickoff of our annual fundraiser for the museum. The annual fund is one of our most important source of operations funding, and our goal for this year is to reach $15,000 in donations. So far, the museum has raised over $9,000 towards the goal. Our annual fund will continue through April of this year. In December, the museum participated in the Shelton Downtown Merchants Holiday Magic Celebration. MCHS was a spot on the Downtown Merchants game card and stayed open late so patrons could come in and browse the museum during the festivities. In the final months of 2017, we also finally completed our digital inventory, and all of our past sessions have been entered into PastPerfect 5.0 museum software. Now we can access our records in a whole new way, which makes research and tracking so much easier. We also completed our museum assessment program through the American Alliance of Museums. After receiving the final report from the American Alliance of Museums, we've begun improving our collections care and organizational processes by following some of the suggestions given in the report. Some of the items on our new priority list include completing and approving core documents such as our collections policy, emergency and preparedness plan, and code of ethics, as well as creating a collections committee to review new items coming into the museum. We have already implemented some of the suggestions on our collections and storage care and look forward to doing more in 2018. Currently, the museum is doing an overhaul of our back archival room. We received a grant from Sierra Pacific to purchase archival supplies. All archives, photographs, and artifacts are in the process of being transferred to acid-free archival boxes and being labeled and organized by a session number to make the collections more easily accessible and to help with rotation of displays. We're also working on putting together a Mason County shellfish industry display, which should be displayed soon. Looking forward, on Saturday, January 20th at 2 p.m., we'll be having Jean Springer give a presentation on her experience riding the trains in the narrow gauge circle of Colorado. Springer is a great speaker, and this program is sure to interest anyone who likes historic railroad stories. On February 18th at 2 p.m. at the museum, we'll be having former director Billy Howard giving a presentation on the PEO, which is the longest-standing women's philanthropic organization in the area. Our staff and volunteers continue to greet patrons of the museum, aid with research, write historical articles for various publications, compile our newsletter, and continue to develop new historical programs and displays. In the last quarter, we received 776 visitors, with 146 from out of town, 45 from out of state, and 3 from out of country. In total for the year, we've received 3,170 patrons to the museum. And we would like to thank you again for your continued support.
Thank you very much.
Good report, thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, next we have an Employee of the Month, and that's going to be presented to us by someone, I think.
Diane?
By Diane? Okay. That's why I don't say these names, because sometimes they don't match up what's on the paper, so sometimes they do.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm here tonight to bring up one of our court employees, Jerry Tidd. She's our Community Service Supervisor, and proud to announce that she is the Shelton Employee of the Month for the month of January. Jerry?
All right, we can clap now.
So I do have something that Judge Steele wrote. He was unable to be here tonight to present, so he just asked me to read this. He said, although that I am unable to be here tonight, I do want to go on the record as approving of the decision to make Ms. Jerry Tidd Employee of the Month. In some ways, it should be a no-brainer. Since Ms. Tidd has taken over managing the community service program, she has made great strides in holding people accountable. Non-compliance is acted upon soon after it occurs, and the people on community service know it will be acted upon. More importantly, however, is that the community service program has become a very noticeable good for the city of Shelton. Scores of sites have been cleaned up and trash removed. The work has been very meaningful. Even more importantly, the program has given defendants opportunities to make a positive contribution to the community that people appreciate. People on the community service crews can and do feel proud of the accomplishments that they have achieved, and our community is better for it. Therefore, excellent work, Jerry. Judge Steele. Yes, and from all of us, thank you very much, and I know that Jerry works with a lot of other departments in the city. We all enjoy working with her very much. The city's presenting you with a coffee mug for your morning coffee and a certificate. Employee of the Month.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next is an opportunity where we, at the beginning of the year, we all, us sitting commissioners, get an opportunity to review committees that we sit on, and we have the information in front of us. And so I'm going to turn this over to Jamie Ogg at this time to talk to us about what committees that we're sitting on and what we choose to do here.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. So you have a list there in your packet, and we have quite a few vacancies, so we just need to get those filled. If there's any changes, I provided that to you early, so you can make any changes as you see fit.
And I would be happy to serve on the 6 that I've been serving on, and I feel comfortable with that.
All right.
I have, well, actually, there's 6 listed here. 2 of them have question marks out after them, which has never been a board to go to for some reason, I'm not sure. But, and in the Mason Matters, they've kind of revamping their program, and so they've never contacted me to come back on, so I'm not sure if that will be, they keep saying that's going to eventually happen again, but I'm not sure on that one. So I would like to keep the left board, the Mason County Board of Health, and the Memorial Hall Board Committee. Do I have to make a decision with those other ones as of tonight, or can I let you know later?
I think we're trying to fill those
Okay,
tonight.
all right,
If at all
okay.
possible.
So what's the Emergency Planning Committee? That is on call. What is that?
That's all of us.
So in case of an emergency?
I think it's a once-a-year event. Is that correct? Mark, are you familiar with that? Is it once a year? And we're all on that automatically.
Okay. Let's see. Well, since I'm with the Mason Health, the Board of Health, probably Community Health and Improvement Plan would be probably one that I would be interested in. And also the Shelton Area Regional Water and Sewer Plan.
Is that your final decision?
Yes, yes, and then
All right.
I'll check into those other ones, but I don't think there's anything
Yeah.
going on with those.
There's approximately 20 of these, and the ones that I am for public information is basically Economic Development Council, Hotel Motel Tax, Mason County Criminal Justice Working Team, MACECOM, Emergency Food and Shelter, and the Chamber. And that's the ones that I've been on for a number of years. And so it comes down to our new commissioner, Commissioner Dorsey. Had you thought about these? And it looks like Kathy has taken a couple of those vacant ones. And so what do you feel comfortable with?
I'll have the Mason Transit Authority Board. There's 2 of those.
Mhm.
And then the remaining ones are Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization, Housing Coalition Executive Meeting, Housing Coalition. I think that fills them.
Yeah.
It does, thank you.
Does that satisfy what you want?
That
Now,
does.
when would the Housing Coalition Executive Meeting be? There isn't any day of time on that one.
I'm not sure we would need to reach out to them.
Okay.
All right, I think that completes our assignment. So next is our weekly commission reports. We've just gone to 2 meetings a month instead of once a week, and so I'm kind of half report on half of what I did last week and what I'm planning to do next week. So at this time, Mr. Dorsey, did you have some activities you wanted to share with the public on what you've been doing or what you're planning to do?
Well, I've been kind of busy for a few days here, but we've had some meetings, and we've had training today. Upcoming, I have action days coming up. We have another meeting coming up on the 24th. Well, actually, that's down here. It's an open meeting for everyone about the Connection Street. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, Commissioner McDowell.
Next Tuesday, I have my Mason County Board of Health and my Memorial Hall Board, the 23rd and 24th. The 24th, we are going to be involved with Action Days in Olympia. The following week, well, not the following week, but the first week of February, I'm going to be at the Capital Land Trust breakfast at St. Martin's College, and trying to squeeze my left board meeting there somehow that day also. The 9th, United Way of Shelton Valentine Dessert and Gift Auction. So that's coming up. That's my through.
Thank you very much. Well, last week, I did attend my Economic Development Council board meeting, and I went to that gala event that the Chamber put on. And tomorrow, I will be attending a Criminal Justice Board meeting. And next week, we are all planning to attend the Action Days over in Olympia. And what that is, it's Association of Washington Cities puts this on once a year. It's right when the legislative process begins, and mayors and councilmen and commissioners from all over the state go, and we meet with our legislators to talk to them about matters of importance and things that would help make Shelton a better place to live. And so that's what we're planning to do next week, and that concludes our weekly commission, or my monthly commission reports. Next is a general public comment period, and because this is the political season, I just have to remind everybody that we are under PDC rules, and so we're very cautious what we say. This is no campaigning or political things like that, and so we just want to make sure we don't break any more rules. So at this point, do we have anyone signed up?
We have no one signed up.
Okay. Moving right along, have you both had an opportunity to review the consent agenda in our packets?
Yes, I have.
Okay, are we ready for reading that?
Yes.
Okay, could we please have a reading of the consent agenda?
Voucher number 16409 in the amount of $7,733.13. Vouchers numbered 16414 through 16477 in the amount of $666,275.46. And we have payroll warrants number 1071 through 1202 and 16385 through 16405 in the amount of $615,159.82. Minutes from study session of December 26, 2017, special meeting minute of January 2nd, 2018, and business meeting of January 2nd, 2018.
So are we ready to do a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will move to approve the consent agenda as read.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda passes. Next is we are going to be discussing some items on our business agenda, and the first is a resolution, and I will turn the meeting over to our Public Works Director, Craig Gregory, at this time.
Thanks, Mayor, Commissioners. We are bringing forward tonight the services of city engineer, and under the commission form of government and being a non-charter code city, we fall under the regulations of a second-class city. And within those, the requirement for the position of city engineer is required unless the commission deems that unnecessary. And a little backstory about our engineer and our consultant engineer. We have had a full-time consultant engineer on for 17 years. Of the last year, or about 13 months, he has been acting as the city engineer. And at this time, it is not necessary to, at least in my feeling, to have a city engineer on board. So we have terminated that contract and not renewed that. And we are backfilling that with city staff, and any decisions that we can't make in-house, we will go out on the on-call engineering services for the answers to any of those questions that we can't answer. So tonight, we are asking that you waive the three-touch rule, being that we would be out a couple more weeks and out of compliance with the requirements of the non-charter code city. And that requirement to have a city engineer on board.
Any questions or comments for Craig Gregory? I think this is a good move, and it can be a cost savings move, and so I would approve this. But you do need a motion for us tonight,
We also need a reading of the resolution.
okay? Any other questions or comments? Would this be a first reading or first and final? A first and final reading, could we please have that concerning this resolution?
Resolution number 1115-0118, a resolution of the City of Shelton, Washington, authorizing the city to contract with a qualified engineering firm for the city engineering services on a temporary, part-time, or periodic basis.
Is there a motion?
I want to ask Craig something real quick.
Sure.
What is the cost saving on this? Do you have a number?
On average, we have been running somewhere around $300,000 a year. In the past year for city engineer services, we did cut that back to 3 days a week, and we were right in the neighborhood of about $220,000
Okay.
as of last year. So, yeah, at this point,
It's a good
with as
move.
many times as we were using the city engineer to actually get questions answered, we don't feel that that's necessary at this point for the few times that we did use that.
Sounds good.
And I do apologize, Mayor, Commissioners, this is listed under the business agenda. It's actually, we're asking for action tonight.
So we have to be open for public comment concerning this.
Correct.
So as anybody would like to have public comment concerning this issue, now would be the opportunity. Seeing no hands raised, then I believe we are ready for a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 1115-0118 and allow city staff to use the on-call engineering services pool to temporarily contract for city engineer services.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution passes. All right, next we have a ordinance that's going to be shared with us by, again, Mr. Craig Gregory.
So, Mayor, Commissioners, when we voted last month on the water and sewer rates, when going back through those, we found an error in the calculations. So when the commission approved the freezing of the rates right at the end of 2016, the Shelton Municipal Code was not updated on the website, and those are the numbers that we use to calculate those increases for water and sewer. So we did find that error and went back and used not the 2017 rate increases that had I believe it was a 4% increase to it. So we went back and actually used the 2016. So these rates that you see within this ordinance now are less than what we had first given you, but that was just an error in calculation. So we are just proposing to fix that error at this point and correct those calculations.
So this would be another action item.
No, we are not looking for action on this tonight.
Okay, all right. So we're going to be placing this on our action item agenda for next meeting, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you have the time to do that? I mean, it's a clerical thing, kind of like catching up
Yes,
with.
we do understand within billing and the finance team that this needs to be changed. It's already been changed with them. It's really just a housekeeping issue that will be updated within the Shelton Municipal Code, and that's really what we're looking for. So we're
Okay.
looking for a first reading of the ordinance tonight.
Is there any other questions or comments for Craig Gregory
No.
concerning this? Okay, so we please have a first reading.
Yes, ordinance number 1916-0118, an ordinance of the City of Shelton, Washington, amending Chapter 15.28 of the Shelton Municipal Code relating to water rates.
All right, thank you very much, and we did concur to have that first reading by nods of the head. All right, item number 3 is another ordinance here talking about sewer rates and charges, and again, that is Craig Gregory.
So again, identical to the water rates, the sewer rates were calculated the same way off of the Shelton Municipal Code, which had not been updated to the rates that were frozen in 2016. So we have gone back and recalculated those, so those are correct at this point. And we would be also looking for a first reading of the ordinance for this week.
Okay, I have just a statement that all of these projected what the rate's going to be next year and the year after and the year after that, these are our educated guess questions, because a dramatic change in the business climate or revenue source or something could make, so we can always have, this is a year by year, we have to look at these numbers. And so these numbers are a projection. These are not guaranteed. They can go up or down depending on exactly what the revenue condition of the city is in. Is that?
You have set rates
Yes.
Through 2023 at this point.
Yes.
But we certainly, if we have an issue as far as revenue, either a shortfall or an excess, we certainly can come back and take a look at these rates.
As we do every
definitely
year.
in the future.
Yep. Any other questions or comments? Okay, could we please have a first reading of that?
Ordinance number 1917-0118, an ordinance of the City of Shelton, Washington relating to sewer service, amending the Shelton Municipal Code sections 14.28.010 through 14.28.040.
Thank you. All right, now we're moving into the action agenda, a part of our meeting, and this is something that, boy, Craig Gregory, you speak a lot at these meetings, don't you?
Yeah.
And anyway, Craig's going to talk to us about the on-call engineering contract.
So as discussed last meeting, we did do an RFP for a request for proposals for on-call engineering since the contracts that we had in place had expired. So we did go out and we got 7 proposals back, of which they were scored, and we picked the top 4. So what we are looking for tonight is for approval for the mayor to sign those 4 contracts after the engineering firms sign those and get those back to us.
Okay, so at this point, it looks like we need, this is on the action agenda, we need, if there's any public comment, I guess we would be open for that.
We have no one signed up at this
Okay,
time.
and so at this point, we need a motion to approve and award up to 4 contracts for 2018. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve award up to 4 contracts for the 2018 on-call engineering service pool.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second, and any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes. Okay, item number 2 is an issue concerning collective bargaining agreements.
Mayor, if I can interrupt you just for a
Absolutely.
second. We need that motion to also include the authorization for you to sign those contracts
Okay.
when they're received.
Could we amend that a motion, please?
I move to approve award of up to 4 contracts for the 2018 on-call engineering services pool as identified in the attached list of consultants, and authorize the mayor to sign those contracts as they are returned to the city.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's still passed. All right, next is our Assistant City Manager, Vicki Look, will talk to us about the collective bargaining agreement.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. A few months ago, we met in a closed session to talk to the Commission about our groups that were, contracts were expiring at the end of 2017. And we received direction from you about what we could offer to those groups to find settlement. So one of the things that affected all of the city employees, including our groups that we're bargaining with, was that the Association of Washington Cities, where we purchase our health care from, were taking and closing down 2 of the plans that we were currently on. So we had to move away from those plans, and then we have to bargain the effects of that change with our groups. So we did do that. We moved to a different Regents and Kaiser plans and offered a high deductible along with the 250 and 200 plans. And to offset that impact to the higher deductibles and the higher out-of-pocket maximums, we offered to put $75 a month into an HRA, which is a health reimbursement account, or if they were with a high deductible, we offered to fund some money into a health savings account. So we came to an agreement with all of our employees and made that change in the medical plans. So that I just wanted to put that out there, as that is one of the things that we bargained and agreed upon, and didn't really increase the cost of medical other than the $75 into the HRA. The Police Guild, we bargained with them. They are a group that has binding arbitration, and with that, we have to agree to comparables with them. And comparables mean cities that are like size and have the same sort of valuation as the city of Shelton and that. So our cities that we used are Chehalis, Hoquiam, Kelso, Port Orchard, Paulsbo, Cedar-Woolley, and Sequim. So we looked at all the compensation, the package that they were offering to their police guilds, and we came to that we were running a little low in the wages and benefits. So the following were that we agreed to were within the scope that you presented to me and allowed me to bargain with them. So we came to a 3-year agreement, and we offered them 5% the first year, 3%, and 3% for the 2 following years. The sergeants were further behind, and so they received a 7% and then 3 and 3. This brings us very close, within a 2 or 3 percentage range of the comparable cities, so we were pretty comfortable with that offer. With the SWAT team, that's the Special Weapons and Tactics, we did offer a initial sum of $1,500 when they are assigned to that group, and thereafter $500 annually to keep that equipment and uniforms purchased and up to date. So field training officers were increased from a 3% to 5% after appointment, and we did have shift differential, which was increased a 0.5%. Bilingual, we do have a compensation that based on testing, and that they could receive a $100 stipend per month for being able to communicate with us and in a bilingual. So the customer service group, they did a 3-year agreement, and we also looked at the same comparables to see what was a fair range for them, and we came up with a 5, 3, and 3 over a 3-year period. And with financial services, the group, they wanted a 1-year contract, and we offered them a 3% based on the comparables that we looked at to see what would be a fair wage for those folks. While we don't have an obligation to look at that, then it helps us set an internal comparison. So that's what I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions or comments? I will say that I'm very appreciative of the work that you have done, Vicki, in these negotiations year after year, at least the 5, 6 years I've been here. And, you know, a lot of times cities they hire outside people to do this. And so, you know, I think you do an excellent job for the city of Shelton. And this is all within the parameters which you had the authority to do. And so I have no problem in moving this forward. But we do have an opportunity for the public to speak. Did anybody sign up for this?
No.
Okay. So do my fellow commissioners have any comments or questions at this time?
No.
Okay. So what it looks like is we do need a motion. So could we have a motion?
Do you want it, or you want me to?
You go ahead.
Me go ahead?
Yeah.
All right. I move to approve the following collective bargaining contracts. Shelton Police Guild for 3-year contract effective January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2020. Customer Service Union for 3-year contract effective January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2020. And Shelton Financial Workers Guild, 1-year contract effective January 1, 2018 through December 31st, 2018.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
You did? Did I miss it? Yeah, we got an ear problem right there. I don't, did you second it verbally?
I just now second.
Oh, you did. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have an item number 3 is under the action agenda, and this will be a presentation by our city manager, Ryan Wheaton.
Mayor and Commissioners, in front of you, you have my resignation letter. As we discussed earlier today, my final day with the city as city manager will be January 31st. I want to thank you for the opportunity to work for what I think is the hardest working and best team in our community. And with that, I can answer any questions you may have.
Well, all I can say is that you are a professional, and you've done a great job for the city of Shelton. Things you accomplished, I only dreamed about accomplishing for the city of Shelton. And so you will be greatly missed, and we just hope that everything in all of our futures and the city of Shelton's future continues to move in a successful, positive direction.
I agree.
You've left a list of things you've accomplished. and we
Those are not things I've accomplished.
Well,
That's
we
what these
accomplished it,
people have
yeah, but you were the
accomplished.
team leader. Yeah, you took it by the reins, so thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So this is an action item. If there's anyone here from the public that wants to speak, has anybody signed in on this item?
No one has signed in.
Okay. So, at this point, if there's any administration report, this would be the time.
They need to take action here.
I don't hear anyone, so.
Oh, did you give them the motion?
Do you have action associated
Oh,
with?
looks like we do need to make a motion. So I would accept a motion.
I move to accept the resignation of Ryan Wheaton and direct the city attorney to prepare a separation agreement that includes 9 months compensation, 3 months coverage for medical benefits, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement on behalf of the commission.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
I got it, Vicki.
Now, is there any administration report?
There is one thing. We just want to remind everybody that there is a public meeting on the 24th of this month here in the Civic Center. It will be at 6 p.m. and will cover the Downtown Connector project at that point. 90%, Craig?
That's correct.
90% designs. We're excited to let everybody know what the updates are based on their feedback and about 70 people that showed up at the last public meeting for this project.
All right. Thank you very much. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, February 6th at 7 p.m. in the evening. This meeting is adjourned.